see that there's a pretty full session right now, and it's lunchtime. So Thunder in the East being played. And this is an updated edition that's coming up. And somebody's going to play D-Day at Tarawa, solitaire game in a convention. That's a new concept for me. You see a game of NATO, the new edition by Compass. And Bruce Maxwell is coming up, right?
What's that?
Bruce Maxwell will be attending, right? He's over there? Oh, there he is. Okay.
Make sure to ask him about his attack with hamper.
Okay. There's 3 tables of NATO, and here's another one. So, you got there, Bruce Maxwell is playing there. So it's NATO all the way. And here we got Combat Commander. It's always been played at the convention. Everybody likes it. So here's John Butterfield on Hell's Highway. So this is, I think, a game they're playtesting. And I think this map fits on my table, so that's a good sign. Let's take a close look here at what scale this is. Okay. Don't know if these are regiments or battalions. Here's Eindhoven. Got some units here. So the Americans landed here. I don't know what town that is. Here's Nijmegen. And we continue on the highway, and obviously Oosterbeek and Arnhem. Here's one that is interesting, from Salerno to Rome, Di Simula Edizioni. This is an Italian publisher, and this is a game about the Italian campaign from the invasion of Salerno to the capture of Rome. And this is the map. We're looking from the west. I think you see Salerno there. It's covered by some counters. There's Salerno, so the Allies have already entered. And the front looks like it's up here. The Germans are setting up like a line or something here in the mountains. So, very nicely done map and counters. This is a play right here and activation points track. So this is the Battle for Galicia, 1914. This is a game designed by Michael Resch, and this is in Compass's magazine, which is, what's the name of the magazine? Paper Wars. Paper Wars. And we got Lewis here, right?
Yeah.
So Lewis, you're playing, what side are you playing?
Both.
You're playing solitaires here. So you got here the Russians on one side and the Austro-Hungarians on the other, right?
Correct.
Okay. And this is a more simple version, I understand, of Michael Resch's World War I games that you find in GMT, which is Twilight of the Gods, and what's the other one?
Twilight in the East and
Serbian something, I can't pronounce it.
yeah, Serbia must be destroyed. Something like that.
Yeah. And what's the scale here? The units are what?
Divisions and some brigades.
Okay, so divisions and brigades. Okay. And what turn are you on? Are you in?
I'm just messing around, basically turn 2.
Turn 2.
Yeah.
And who are attacking here? The Austro-Hungarians?
Yeah, they're on the offensive initially, but the way I see it, the Russians send in a whole ton of troops and then attack Lemberg. So it's I haven't really played the game with another opponent, so I don't really know. But I have a feeling like the Austrians will stall out pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then they'll have to defend Lemberg, and it's an interesting game. Really works well.
Flows well?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those hidden gems,
Yeah.
people pass by because it's a magazine game.
Magazine, World War I. It's just trench and trench back, and I know. It's this was a pretty open, right? At front, because it's the beginning of the war. They haven't fully entrenched.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty much.
So it's nice. I'll be taking a look at it when I get home. Maybe I'll do a video on it.
Like I said, this was a pleasant surprise because sometimes, like I said, magazine games generally are hit and miss. But this one I started playing and I could see the thought behind it. It was very clever, and it's been on my table at least once or twice, which is pretty good.
Good. Sounds good. Well, thank you, Louis. Okay, so here we see a game of the Napoleonic Wars. This is a game designed by Mark McLaughlin, published by GMT, and this particular game they're using minis. Let's take a closer look.
You're coming from here.
You see the minis, there's some standees there, but you got the minis representing the denominations of strength points.
Yep.
And the ships look really nice.
The Turkey passed when they were sitting on the Russian position one. The Turkey. Could they have held the card rather than played it? No, they're a non-player neutral, so they have to flip up all. So you can't pass. It's a draw section, and I need to understand what's going on.
There you go. Okay. I'm going to move there for one, and I'm going to go to Genoa.
What's that?
Extended campaign.
Oh, extended campaign. That is a card. Okay, yeah, that's why.
So I'm attacking it. I'm attacking you there.
And these are all his miniatures that he added too. So the ships and the horses and the cannon and stuff, they don't come with the game.
I think the cavalry and the infantry are the risk, right?
Yeah, they are risk.
But the ships look really nice, and
I think so too.
they got some substance there, yeah.
Amazon.
Alright, so we're fighting.
You can turn and run, but you cannot hide.
How long does a game with experienced players take?
I find that it's about an hour and a half a turn.
You got
An hour and a half to 2 hours a turn, and the game has variable turns that generally will be resolved within 2 or 3 turns, but sometimes it will go the distance.
Okay, sounds good.
I concur. Yeah.
Great games.
It actually is a great game.
Yeah, everybody who I asked tells me the same. It has this thing about the momentum that the Germans go and then you interrupt, right?
You can interrupt. It's very different from most games.
Yeah, so it's.
I go even impulse.
This is John Hill's Battle for Stalingrad. This is the Excalibur edition that came out, 10 years ago. Okay.
It was a good SPI game too.
You're still in turn 1? Wow, it's a long turn.
15. The introductory scenario was only one turn.
I see.
Where are you going?
1.
I'm on the 15th. Oh, that's right. You support with all that artillery, right? What's your 1 do on a 15?
4.
With a, well, you got a +1 to power.
Oh, I do?
So that would be
You don't have
3. 3 hits. 3 hits? 3 hits. 1, 2, and breakthrough. I'll trade you unit for unit with Texas all day long and then some.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a fiasco.
Are you following it up?
Leave this wide open back there, so I'm going to leave him right where he is. He still has zone of control.
So we got 2 tables of War and Peace, right?
Yes.
So War and Peace, I remember in 1980, I was in college, I played that thing, and I really liked it. I mean, it was simple, but very realistic mechanics. You got leadership. You had the sieges, right?
Yes.
Now we have this game by one small step,
Yes, that's correct.
and it's a big game. It's a mounted map board, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
And it has a lot of things that the original game
Right.
didn't have, like this
The
global.
naval, you can do economic or commerce rating. So the Navy, you got a lot more options with the naval stuff, and I'm just figuring that out today.
And
But,
this Middle East
yes,
map, that
so
wasn't there either.
Yeah, so I can go down here and invade and try to take Egypt if I want. Once I get the Mediterranean kind of cleared up.
So you can do the Napoleon's Egyptian campaign.
Yes, that's
Cool.
correct. And they expanded the scenarios quite a bit. That include you just do that one
Yeah.
if you wanted to. But I wish they had a play or like a thing that showed how to set up the markers initially. I had to go through the rules and hunt heck to find.
Setup is a little hectic.
On the markers.
Oh, the
It's
markers.
pretty clear on the pieces, but the kind of the displays, it's in text form, not in
Oh, I see.
not in visual form, which I'm visual, but I think I've got it figured out. There's not a lot of. We need you to do your video work on this kind of stuff because that's how you.
Well, I don't know. Would sequence of play cards help? I don't know. The sequence of play is pretty involved, right?
Yes, it's right here. Just out of the way. So I started the neutral players. There really wasn't a lot to do, and now I'm in the French naval play.
Okay, yeah, it is.
So I just kind of followed along. They don't have any references to the rules, which is unfortunate. So I have to go in and
See, with the sequence of play card, you just flip a card. It's going to have the references there. I think
when are you going to have that done by?
everybody wants me to do those. You know,
You want this because you got this game.
I like this game. This is beautiful.
Oh yeah, I love the artwork.
And I know, for example, the rivers are now on the hex sides. They used to be
that's correct.
running in the middle from.
That's correct. And the cities were a little hard to find because of some of the coloration.
Yeah.
Because it's a darker map. But I just have to Google the location. I mean, the cities haven't moved.
But it's really nice.
Yeah, and I forgot to bring my little blocks with me, so I could put memory markers on alliances and production cities and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So you got two tables of this, right? They're being played.
They're running a scenario over there. I'm doing the grand campaign game. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for.
Oh, no problem. It's a pleasure.
For informing me about this, because I still have to crack it open.
Yes, and then work on those cards.
Work on those cards. Okay, thanks. Okay, we're here in the La Battaille room, right?
Yep.
And playing. What game, Eric? They're playing.
This is the La Battaile de Friedland 1807. So we've got the
French versus Russians.
Exactly. And the Russians have made a strong push against Lannes' corps and kind of backed them up in towards the woods. And now Ney's corps is coming on, as is Napoleon's forces. And so they're making a push here while Lannes is trying to hold off the Russians over here. So we got most of the Russian center and right wing is right along here. This stream here is a big divider on the battlefield. It's very hard for anyone to cross it. And so then the Russian left wing is over here, and we've got a number of cavalry battles and skirmishing and lots of artillery being exchanged here. But you can see the road up towards Eylau is full of French troops coming down the pike.
And that's the Emperor himself.
Yes, the Emperor Napoleon is right there. And so he's a nice chap to have around because he automatically rallies the troops.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
We don't have anyone nearly that effective on the Russian side.
On the Russian side, no.
Yeah, in fact, sometimes they might go, you? Are you interested in learning or checking out Pub Battles Austerlitz? I brought a copy of it.
Well, I would be interested, yeah.
Okay.
That's the one that comes like in a...
It's in a tube.
In a tube,
It's got the canvas map. It's fun, and because the pieces are the little wooden pieces are turned, you don't know exactly what the other chap has got. So it's more fun to play with another person than solitaire.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what's
So,
there.
yeah.
But if you were looking for something to do, one of these evenings, usually we wrap up. A lot of the guys are mentally exhausted or emotionally exhausted. By 7 o'clock in the evening, and I'm like, hey, if you want to try a game, I'd love to sit down with you.
I'll join. And can you show me those cards that look familiar?
Yes, these very familiar cards here. So I downloaded from someone named Stuka Joe a set of templates for what you would call a sequence of play cards. And these have been designed as a sequence of play cards for the La Battaille Premier Rules. And I'm going to be posting them on Board Game Geek and Concept World so that anyone who's interested in learning La Battaille will be able to go through, and it's very simple.
So you got the charge phase is the first phase, right?
Yeah, the charge phase.
It's divided in various steps.
Yep, and so then you have all the different things that can happen. There could be a reaction charge, and then what do the infantry react, and then how do the artillery react as targets,
Nice.
and then how do the infantry do, and there's too much to put on just one card sometimes, so sometimes it overlaps. And then what happens with the recall, and then finally you go on to the movement phase. And then what kind of things can happen there with an opportunity fire, opportunity charges, more opportunity charge, and then you have your combat phases. That's fire combat. Then you have your assaults, your pre-melee morale checks, and recovery phase for everything.
16 cards.
16 cards.
And does it help? And in the sense you don't have to be consulting player aids or the rules for those?
It does. It's very helpful. For a number of us, we're La Battaille veterans. So for most of us, we know this. But it saves us from having to consult the rule book. So there's times that we've had stuff like, oh, okay, we did an opportunity charge. What is it? And I just go zip, 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 zip. Oh, here it is. This is what we do. And that way we don't have to flip pages. And so it's been helpful even for beginners and even more advanced players. It's very, very handy. So, tip of the hat.
My pleasure.
Stuka Joe there. Thank you, Jose.
Everything to make the games play easier and smoother, that's what I like to do.
Well, and particularly with a game like this, which has a reputation for being complex. Having something like this helps with new players getting comfortable with it. So I've already had a couple of my friends in Southern California. I've said, let's play this game, and we just have gone through it step by step, and after a while, they then know how to do it without having to consult it, which I think is the whole point of it.
That's the whole point, yeah.
So yes, so very, very nice.
Well, thank you.
Now, I just have to now try to figure this out for 5th edition rules. I think I'll just stick with Premier.
Don't throw away the PowerPoint file, because you can.
No. I think that would be like 32 cards. I'll have a stack of cards this high. But this particular map I had copied and then laminated, and then I had all the pieces and I made myself, copied them and then did them on this chipboard, and so therefore I don't have to worry about. Because this particular game has been out of publication for what?
You did a video on that. I saw that. Yeah. You took you went over, you printed the originals. You went into.
Scanned it at like Office Depot or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that. And you had that laser thing. Still have it?
Yeah, I still do. In fact, I have one for you.
Oh my God!
I bought a bunch.
Line of sight.
If you'd like one. I've been giving them as gifts to people.
Oh, thanks.
But yeah, the laser thing is.
This is great.
Yeah, and you can then just, for line of sight, see stuff. So it's very handy. And then we need to get you playing some Vassal stuff. Because I know you're out in Puerto Rico. I don't know how many colleagues you have. I see most of your stuff is kind of solitaire play.
Yeah.
Trying to get you doing some Vassal stuff on Discord or whatever. It doesn't have to be La Battaille, but there's a whole.
I know. I'm kind of like allergic to Vassal. I think it's I don't know. It's just the flatness of it all, The good thing about the board game is it has it has substance. You know, you get closer. The stacks mean, you know, you see the stacks, and it has something to it that. And I love the games now. They use wood and the thick counters, like those, even those Hollandspiel games with those thick counters, they look terrific. So there's something appealing. I mean, the hobby is like it's a mixture of history, it's a mixture of gamesmanship, but it's also art, and it's also has to be pleasant to the eye, right?
Sure, absolutely.
And so
now I noticed that with some of there was a print and play one that you did recently where you had mounted the stuff on like a wooden
on wooden pieces. Yeah,
where are you getting the wooden pieces?
It's a business called Z Laser with it's spelled ZLAZR, and they sell wooden pieces 5/8 of an inch, half an inch, 3/4. I mean,
are they square? Do they have them rectangles, different sizes?
Yeah, they have them rectangle, square, and so.
What did you do? You
paste? Yeah, this is a print and play game from High Flying Dice on a battle of the Spanish Civil War. So I just purchased the base game, which brings a sheet of quote-unquote counters, which is really a cardstock sheet with the images of the counters. So I print that into sticker paper, laminate the sticker paper, then I cut it and I paste them on the wooden pieces. And it looks beautiful. It looks amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it probably looks a lot more professional.
It looks like deluxe, you know. It's because now it's wood, but it's not a Euro game. It's still a war game, but with wood. You know? We don't want it to be a Euro game. We want it to be a war game.
Well, and this is one of the things that I found very attractive with. Recently, I purchased and did a review of, I think it was Napoleon Returns 1815, and it's using the little pieces, and it's got the core markers and everything. It's embossed and all the rest. So tactilely, it has a very pleasant feel to it.
Yeah.
I think you'll like this Pub Battles one because it's the same kind of a thing there with the wooden pieces.
And the canvas map, I think that's an interesting.
The canvas map is
that's neat also. Yeah.
Paper, I mean, it really feels
and the map itself is basically from like a map, maybe dating from 1830 or something like that.
Okay.
So it very much has that.
The period.
Yeah. But I know with a lot of people. A lot of the companies are coming out with more and more of these components that have that nice feel to them.
Like add-ons, like
exactly.
to pimp up, or they say pimp up, like the more deluxe version. That's not a word I use in my channel. Pimp up. What the hell is that? How many tactical Napoleonic systems there are? I mean, there's La Battaille, there's Kevin Suckers, I saw New England Simulation has another series of games, right?
There's so La Battaille is battalion level.
Mm-hmm.
The Hexasym stuff is more regimental level.
Mm-hmm.
The Zucker stuff is a little bit more regimental. It's a
really
Yeah. And then there's a lot of stuff that's either core level or divisional level stuff. So as far as battalion level, this is, I think, the oldest one that's been around.
Yeah, but you know, if you think about things that aren't even published anymore, the gamers had the Napoleonic Battle series. I mean, they only had a few before they gave up on it. But I mean, if you think about just tactical Napoleonic series, I mean, there are a lot of them. I mean, obviously this one has just got longevity that some of the others don't.
Yes.
But and obviously a great number of titles, which is great. But yeah, I mean, boy, you've got so many to choose from. It's hard to know where to start.
And how are the rules here? Are they pretty stable, like the core rules have been?
No, they blow up on us.
So I've got a video on my channel that goes into detail and all.
So he changes them whenever he's losing. So we have a very, very good.
They change things.
Yeah, everybody's played most of them, but the problem with that is, wrong rules or relevant rules, they get into your head.
Yeah.
They don't easily exit.
Yeah,
you can find yourself playing something incorrectly.
It's so hard to unlearn something,
20 years, and then you find out.
That's why I have this for you, David.
That's marvelous.
Yeah. But and that's the challenge. So this particular game series title has been out for 50 years, And so over time, different publishers have done different sets of rules. And I would say that the premier rules, which are the ones that we're using for this particular one, and the Marshall Enterprise maintains, that's probably the most accessible, easiest to play, accessible type.
And it's also designed more for the monster game.
Yeah, and for team play too.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Convention.
Well, no,
Yeah.
if you're playing with them team play, playing with Eric, no, you're on your own.
Alan, you're killing me.
Well,
But,
gentlemen, I'm going to run over to the reception.
Yeah, you go for it. You take care.
And so we'll see you around 9 o'clock tomorrow?
Yeah, 9 o'clock tomorrow.
Take care, Dave.
So, yeah, so then there's been a number of other different editions of rules that add elements of command and control, more detail, or they have the author or the designer has a different take to it. So you're all together, there's maybe
I've sold plenty of stuff this week.
3 or 4 rule sets that are used by most people. And so, but they all have a very similar foundation. So you can go from one to the other. You know, it's kind of like if you learned Latin, you can talk to someone in Spanish and in French. You might not be able to get everything, but you still have that same base. So.
It's a funny thing when you've got multiple sets of rules for the same basic game system. I mean, it's true, you can use any of the rules with any of the counters. I mean, it's not like you need additional information necessarily. But it's almost the similarity of the rules that makes it work. Because it is so similar. It's like the first time I went to Canada, and I kept wondering why everything was so expensive, because of course they have dollar signs in front of them, but of course they're Canadian dollars. That's a $30 steak? That seems expensive. Well, it's really 22. And it's kind of the same problem that sometimes you find that the rules are so similar that when they're different, it'll trip you up.
But you're welcome to come around and take a look. Here's all the action that's happening over more or less on this side of the map. So
it's all over there. I mean, we're just dancing around, and our objective is to damage that Naze core so
and then
badly.
here's a lot of the Russian avant-garde, and they're in skirmish order, the ones that are flipped over like this, and cavalry, all kinds of a cavalry scrum going on here. And then just more and more reinforcements pouring in off this side. Oh, and he's got more heavy cavalry. Well,
I know.
I'll send more your way if I can.
I'm just hoping I can get rid of that cavalry before the next mob comes on.
Good luck with that.
No, I know.
And so then here the Russians have really been pushing. But you can see that, you know, the counters, you get a sense. Here's the hussars, you can see that they're uniform, you know, and you can kind of get a sense. Here's the cuirassiers that kind of have that sort of silver or gray color for their cuirass and whatnot. So this is what had made La Battaille attractive to me, because I'd played some Napoleonic miniatures, but I didn't have the time or the money to like paint 5 gazillion miniatures. So when I saw La Battaille back in the early 80s, I said, oh, this is brilliant, because back then, if you remember, all the counters were like, they're blue, or they're green, or they're gray, or they're pink. They didn't even have red. You know, you get those Avalon Hill ones or SBI or whatnot. Yeah, and so suddenly you've got ones that have got color on them, and you're like, it's like having a game with miniatures. You get the same feel, you get the flavor of it without having to buy a set of miniatures. So that was the attraction for me.